Hey guys, tonight we're stepping into a world where the noise fades, the pace slows, and every thought you have becomes deliberate. You're standing in a quiet stone courtyard in the early morning, the kind of place where the air feels cool against your skin, and the sky is still painted with the last traces of dawn. Somewhere, in the corner of that courtyard, a teacher in a worn cloak is speaking to a small group. His voice calm but certain. You lean closer, and the first thing you hear could change the way you live for the rest of your life. Here's the first truth he shares: the only prison that can truly hold you is the one you build inside your own mind. If that sentence doesn't rattle you just a little, it should, because if you've been living without noticing it, you might already be locked in. And you probably won't survive this modern life with your peace intact unless you learn how to break out. The second truth comes like a soft warning: you've been giving away your happiness to things you can't control. Every headline that ruins your day, every opinion that shifts your mood, every plan that falls apart, each one takes a little piece of you, and you've been letting it happen. But imagine if, starting tonight, you could stop handing over the keys to your own well-being. The third truth is quieter, but it hits deeper. All the freedom you've been chasing is already yours. Not the freedom of perfect circumstances, but the inner freedom to choose how you see, how you act, and how you live. That's the kind of freedom Epictetus taught, and it doesn't fade, even when life gets difficult. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Because tonight, we're not talking about another self-help checklist or a feel-good mantra you'll forget by morning. We're going straight to the roots, to the timeless guide that's outlived empires, crossed centuries, and still speaks to the part of you that wants to live with purpose, virtue, and unshakable calm. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. One, control versus worry. Know what you can control. Stick to your own business. If you've ever lain awake at night replaying a conversation or spent hours scrolling through headlines feeling your stomach tighten, you know the heaviness of worry. It's as if your mind gets tangled in invisible threads that pull you toward fears you can't fix, toward problems you can't solve, toward futures you can't yet live. Epictetus would look at you in that moment, not with scorn, but with a calm, steady gaze, and he would remind you some things are within your control. Most things are not, and your peace depends on knowing the difference. This is not just an ancient mantra. It's the beating heart of what we now call the dichotomy of control. And it is the anchor point for every other teaching in his philosophy. Your opinions, your choices, your desires, these are yours. The weather, the economy, what other people say or think, these are not. Yet, how often do we reverse the two? How often do we spend our energy on what we can't shape, while neglecting the very choices that form our character? Think of your mind as a garden. Inside the fence, your thoughts, your goals, your decisions. Outside the fence, the neighbor's weathered fence posts, the wind, the rain, the footsteps that pass by. If you spend your days shouting at the sky, you neglect the weeds under your own feet. But if you keep your hands in the soil, tending to what's yours, the rest fades into background weather. Modern psychology offers a similar image through the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's Epictetus distilled for our time, and it's not meant to be a pretty phrase on a mug. It's meant to be a way of living that strips your worries down to what's truly yours to act upon. First, know what you can control. You control your aims. If your aim is to live honestly, to act with kindness, to keep your word, then no market crash, no gossip, no twist of fortune can take that from you. This doesn't mean you're unaffected by life. It means you're not owned by it. If you lose your job, you don't control the decision of the board, but you do control whether you meet the news with dignity or with collapse. If someone insults you, you don't control their mouth, but you do control the meaning you give their words. Epictetus warns us every time you attach your happiness to something outside your power, you hand over the keys to your peace. You make yourself a hostage to luck, and luck is a merciless master. Second, stick to your own business. This is not a call to selfishness. It is a call to clarity. Sticking to your own business means asking in every situation, is this mine to decide, or am I reaching into someone else's garden? We live in a time where other people's lives are broadcast like public theater. It's tempting to have a running commentary on everyone, what they should do, how they should think, what mistakes they've made. But when you spend your mind on their business, you steal from your own. If your coworker gets promoted unfairly, your mind will want to spiral into resentment. But ask, is this my decision? No. My decision is how I carry myself today, how I do my work, how I prepare for my own opportunities. This doesn't mean indifference to the world. It means involvement without attachment. You do your part, you fulfill your role, and you leave the outcomes to the weave of causes you cannot command. The shift that changes everything. The moment you start sorting life into two baskets, mine and not mine, you'll feel a strange kind of strength returning. You'll see that your energy is finite, and when you stop spending it on what's outside your reach, you have more to invest in what matters. It's like cleaning a cluttered room. At first, you want to keep everything just in case. But once you start throwing away what doesn't serve you, space appears. In the mind, that space is called peace. Practical ways to practice this month. Daily audit. At the end of each day, write down 3 worries you had. For each one, ask, was this in my control? If yes, note the action you took or could have taken. If no, write a sentence releasing it. Morning intention. Before leaving your home, tell yourself today, I will tend to my garden. Imagine the fence between your choices and the rest of the world. Conversation. Pause before offering an opinion on someone else's choices. Pause and ask, is this mine to decide? If not, let silence be your contribution. Example 1. The commute. You're in traffic, already late, and a driver cuts you off. Old habit honk, mutter insults, replay it all day. New habit, remind yourself, I do not control this driver. I control my attention. Maybe you use the next 10 minutes to listen to a podcast that nourishes you instead. Example 2. Online arguments. A stranger posts something offensive. Old habit, type a paragraph. Refresh for replies. Feel your pulse rise. New habit, remember, I do not control this person's mind. I control whether I spend my evening feeding outrage or feeding my growth. Example 3. Workplace rumors. You overhear that your company may restructure. Old habit, lose sleep over possible outcomes. New habit, list what's in your control, your performance, your resume, your network, and act on those, leaving the rest to unfold. Why this matters beyond you. When you practice the dichotomy of control, you become a calmer presence in every room. You stop adding noise to noise. People sense that you're not swept away by every gust, and it gives them permission to steady themselves too. Epictetus lived in a world as unpredictable as ours, perhaps more so. He knew the sting of slavery, the loss of status, the fragility of fortune. Yet his peace was not fragile, because it rested on what no chain, no emperor, no insult could touch the governance of his own mind. Think of one thing that happened today that wasn't in your control. Picture yourself placing it gently outside your garden fence. Then think of one thing that was in your control. Perhaps the tone you used with someone, or the way you handled a setback, and give yourself credit for tending to it. This is how we begin, not by wishing for a perfect world, but by mastering our place in the one we have. Control versus worry is not a theory. It's a choice you can make 100 times a day. And with each choice, you pull another thread out of the web of needless suffering. Next, we'll go deeper into the way we see the world itself. Because often, it's not life that hurts us, but the story we tell about it. 2. Seeing clearly appearances. Events don't hurt us, opinions do. We was about sorting the world into what's yours and what's not. This part is about what happens inside your head the instant something happens. Because Epictetus knew, and modern psychology agrees, it's not events themselves that disturb us. It's the meaning we attach to them. Something happens before the dust even settles. Your mind assigns a label: good, bad, unfair, tragic, life-changing. And that label shapes your emotions, your behavior, and sometimes your entire future. But here's the trap: those labels are rarely objective truth. They're impressions, appearances, as Epictetus called them, and they are often wrong. Appearances are not reality. A friend cancels dinner plans. The appearance says they don't value me. The truth could be they're exhausted, overwhelmed, or dealing with something private. A job interview goes cold halfway through. The appearance says, I blew it. The truth could be they already had an internal hire lined up. The gap between what is and what seems is where much of our misery is born. Epictetus teaches us to pause in that gap. He tells us when an impression hits, don't accept it blindly. Hold it up to the light of reason and ask, is this the whole truth or just my first reaction? Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most effective therapies today, is built on this same insight. Our thoughts about events shape our feelings, not the events themselves. Change the thought, and you change the emotional outcome. Epictetus was teaching this nearly 2,000 years ago. He might say, it's not the rain that makes you miserable. It's your judgment that rain ruins my day. If you drop the judgment, the rain just falls. We can't stop our brains from producing first impressions, but we can choose whether to accept them. Imagine every impression as a salesperson knocking at your door. Some are selling useful tools. Others are selling poison in a pretty bottle. You get to choose which ones to let inside. The practice is simple, but not easy. 1. Notice the first thought. 2. Question it. Is this true? Is there another way to see this? 3. Choose the story that serves your character and your peace. Practical ways to practice this part. The 3-breath rule. When something triggers you, take 3 slow breaths before you respond. Use that space to check your first interpretation. Reframe challenge each evening. Write down one event that bothered you and rewrite it from a neutral or even positive angle. Fact versus story. Separate what actually happened. Fact from the meaning you gave it. Story. See how much of your reaction is to the story, not the fact. Example 1. The text that never came. You message someone and they don't reply. Old habit, they're ignoring me. They must be upset. New habit. They haven't replied yet. That's the only fact. The rest is my guesswork. Example 2. The public mistake. You trip walking into a meeting. Old habit. Everyone thinks I'm clumsy and unprofessional. New habit, I trip. People saw, that's it. I can move on. And so will they. Example 3. The critic's voice. Someone critiques your work. Old habit, they don't appreciate me. I'm not good enough. New habit. They gave feedback. I can weigh it. Use what's useful and discard the rest. Seeing clearly protects you. When you separate appearances from reality, you protect yourself from 2 thieves: needless suffering and needless elation. Why elation? Because when you attach your joy to illusions, it collapses the moment the illusion breaks. The same skill that keeps you calm in hardship keeps you grounded in success. A compliment is nice, but it's just an opinion, not the foundation of your worth. A setback is painful, but it's just a moment, not the full measure of your life. Epictetus never told us to pretend bad things are good. He told us to see them as they are, no more, no less. If a storm is coming, you don't deny the clouds, you prepare the ship. Seeing clearly doesn't mean sugarcoating. It means dealing with the truth instead of wrestling with shadows. Why this matters beyond you. A person who sees clearly becomes a steady presence in chaos. While others chase rumors, you hold to facts. While others react to every flare of emotion, you act with intention. And in doing so, you not only protect your own peace, you become a mirror in which others can see their own distortions. Recall one moment from your day when you reacted quickly. Ask yourself what actually happened. What story did I tell about it? Was that story the only way to see it? This is how we begin to see clearly, not by erasing our impressions, but by refusing to be ruled by them. We stop living inside the echo chamber of our first thoughts and start living inside reality. Tomorrow, we'll explore what it means to play your role and why. According to Epictetus, your happiness might depend less on choosing the role and more on performing it well. 3. Your role, playing your role well. Duty through relationships. Imagine life as a vast stage. The curtain is already up. The play is already in motion, and you are standing under the lights. You did not write the script. You did not choose the scene. You did not even choose your character's starting point. But you are here. Epictetus tells us that we do not get to choose our roles. That's the work of something larger: fate, nature, God, the universe, whatever name you give it. What we do get to choose is how we perform the part we've been given. That is where our freedom lies, and that is where our dignity is born. A role might be temporary or lifelong. You might be a parent, a friend, a student, a leader, a neighbor. You might be in a season of hardship or in a season of abundance. The Stoic challenge is the same whatever role you occupy. Play it well. Why roles matter. Life isn't just about you. You exist in a network of relationships, each one carrying its own duties, expectations, and responsibilities. If you are a friend, your duty is loyalty and honesty. If you are a citizen, your duty is to contribute to the common good. If you are a student, your duty is to learn with humility. When we fail in our roles, we not only weaken our own character, we disturb the harmony of the larger play. Epictetus reminds us you are part of a whole. Your role, however small it may seem, shapes the entire performance. The freedom in embracing the role. Modern culture tells us we can be anything we want. Stoicism reminds us you can play anything you are given with excellence. That's a subtler and deeper kind of freedom. You can't decide whether life casts you as the leader in a crisis or the helper in the background. But you can decide to bring your full presence to that role, to make it a performance worthy of your own respect. This doesn't mean blind obedience to circumstances. It means accepting the facts of where you are right now and acting with integrity within them all while preparing yourself for whatever role might come next. Duty through relationships. For Epictetus, duty is not a cold, impersonal word. It's the living bond between you and the people around you. If you are a parent, your duty is not just to feed your child, but to model strength, kindness, and patience. If you are a co-worker, your duty is not just to meet deadlines, but to uphold trust, to speak truth without malice, and to support the collective goal. If you are a friend, your duty is not just to show up for celebrations, but to walk beside someone in hardship without turning the spotlight to yourself. When we live by duty, we move from self-absorption to contribution. We stop asking, "What am I getting?" and start asking, "What am I giving?" Role ethics meets purpose psychology. In modern psychology, purpose is one of the strongest predictors of well-being. People who see their actions as meaningful as part of something larger than themselves are more resilient, more focused, and more at peace. This is Epictetus in action. Playing your role with purpose transforms even mundane tasks into part of the greater good. Practical ways to practice. Role journal. Each morning, list the roles you hold today: partner, worker, neighbor, etc. Under each, write one thing you can do to play that role well. Duty first. When faced with a decision, ask, "What does my role require of me right now?" Let that guide your action, even if it's not the easiest or most comfortable choice. Role swap reflection. Imagine someone else playing your role today. What would you admire in their performance? Bring that quality into your own. Example 1. The reluctant leader. You've been asked to lead a team on short notice. Old habit: focus on how unprepared you feel. New habit: accept the role, gather your strengths, and serve the team as best you can for as long as you have the role. Example 2. The overlooked contributor. You work hard on a project but get no public credit. Old habit: resentment. New habit: remember your duty was to contribute. Recognition is outside your control. Your performance still strengthens the whole. Example 3. The difficult family member. A sibling is in crisis and leans on you heavily. Old habit frustration at the burden. New habits see the role you are family. The duty is compassion and support, within the boundaries you can maintain. What about unwanted roles? Epictetus himself was born a slave. His role at birth was one no one would choose. Yet he did not measure his life by whether the role was easy or glamorous. He measured it by how well he performed within it, and by how he kept his inner freedom intact. We will all be handed roles we dislike: illness, loss, supporting roles when we want the lead. The challenge is not to deny the hardship, but to ask, how can I still act with virtue here? Why this matters beyond you. When you play your role well, you make life smoother for everyone around you. You become reliable. You create trust. And, perhaps most importantly, you remind others without speeches or sermons that dignity is not in the role itself, but in how it's played. Ask yourself, what role did I play well today? What role could I have performed better? Let that reflection guide your actions tomorrow. This is how we move through life's shifting stage, not demanding the perfect part, but making every part we are given worth watching. Next, we'll explore the inner sanctuary. Epictetus speaks of where freedom and happiness are untouched by the storms outside. For inner freedom and happiness. Inner happiness. No one can hurt you. There's a kind of freedom no chain can bind, no insult can tarnish, no misfortune can reach. Epictetus called it the only true freedom, the freedom of the mind that governs itself. And from that freedom springs a deeper happiness than anything fortune can hand us. This isn't the shallow happiness of a good meal or a sunny day, though those are fine gifts. It's the kind of happiness that stays steady when the weather turns, when the job is lost, when the applause fades. It's the happiness of knowing that your peace does not depend on the shifting winds of the world. Happiness is an inside job. We often chase happiness as if it's hiding out there in the next relationship, the next purchase, the next big break. Epictetus tells us bluntly, you're looking in the wrong place. If your happiness depends on external things, it will always be a hostage. The market dips, your friend moves away, your health falters and your mood collapses with them. But if your happiness is rooted in your own choices, in living according to your values, it becomes untouchable. Think of it like this: if you own your house outright, no landlord can evict you. If you own your peace outright, no twist of fate can repossess it. No one can hurt you without your consent. Epictetus lived in a time when insult and injury were daily risks. Yet he insisted no one can truly harm you unless you let them. Harm, in his view, was not about the body. It was about the mind's surrender. If someone insults you, the words themselves are just sound waves. The harm only comes if you take those words inside and let them poison your sense of self. If someone wrongs you, the injustice is theirs to answer for. Your choice is whether to lose your peace along with the loss. This doesn't mean ignoring injustice. It means refusing to give away your inner freedom while addressing it. You can act, speak, or resist without letting bitterness take the throne in your heart. Psychological resilience. In resilience research, The most adaptable people aren't those with perfect lives, but those who believe they still have choice in how they respond. This is exactly what Epictetus taught: focus on what you can control, your interpretation, your action, and you keep your power, even in the worst moments. Practical ways to practice. Daily anchor. Each morning, remind yourself, my peace depends on my choices, not on the day's events. Insult drill. If someone says something sharp, pause and think, that's their opinion. It is not a fact about me. Loss reflection. When you lose something, a plan, an opportunity, write down what's still in your control and act on one of those things immediately. Example 1. The social media storm. Someone posts a harsh comment about you online. Old habit: anger, rebuttals, sleepless nights. New habit: that's a stranger's opinion. I control how I show up tomorrow, not their feed. Example 2. The unexpected setback. You're passed over for a promotion. Old habit: feel diminished, doubt your worth. New habit: acknowledge the disappointment. Then refocus on your work ethic and growth, things no one can take from you. Example 3. The physical limitation. An injury changes your ability to do something you love. Old habits sink into frustration. New habit: adapt your activities. Keep your spirit engaged. Your will is still intact. The quiet strength of inner freedom. When you live this way, people notice. They see that your mood doesn't swing with fortune, that you don't crumble under criticism, that you don't gloat in success or despair in loss. They may not understand it at first, but they will feel it. And here's the beautiful part. This strength isn't cold or distant. It's warm, steady, and deeply human. Because when you're not enslaved by fear or flattery, you can be fully present with others, offering genuine support without the weight of your own turmoil. What? This is not emotional numbness. Stoicism doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you feel deeply, but you choose how those feelings move you. You still care, you still grieve, you still celebrate, but you don't let any of it dictate your character. Why this matters beyond you. A free mind is a gift to the world. When you're anchored inside, you don't add panic to panic or anger to anger. You become a stabilizing force in your circles, someone who can face difficulty without collapsing, and success without arrogance. Ask yourself, what today could have disturbed my peace but didn't? And if something did disturb it, ask, was I giving away my freedom without realizing it? The more you practice, the more you'll see that no one, not a boss, not a stranger, not even fate itself, can truly take your happiness if it's rooted inside. Final part. In our final episode, we'll turn to the building blocks of character: the way we speak, the friends we keep, the habits we form, and the moment we decide to start living our ideals. 5. Building a person. Speaking well. Making friends. The power of habit. Starting to live your ideals. If the first 4 parts have been about understanding the principles of a well-lived life, this last one is about construction, the daily work of building yourself into the kind of person who can live those principles without hesitation. Because philosophy is not just a set of ideas to admire. It's a blueprint for a life you actually build, brick by brick, moment by moment. Epictetus believed that character is not a gift from the gods or the result of lucky birth. It's a craft, one you can learn. practice, and refine. And he gave us 4 key tools for this work: our speech, our relationships, our habits, and our willingness to live our ideals now, not someday. Speaking well. The way you speak shapes not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. Words are the outer clothing of the mind. They reveal the quality of your thought. Epictetus warns against corrosive chatter, gossip, lies, idle criticism, because they don't just harm others, they corrode your own clarity. Every word you speak either strengthens your self-respect or weakens it. Modern psychology backs this up. Language influences mindset. If your speech is constantly negative, sarcastic, or cruel, your brain learns to live in that world. If your speech is thoughtful, truthful, and constructive, your mind begins to mirror that. Practice for this month. Before speaking, ask, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this kind? Go 1 full day each week without gossip. Notice how much lighter your mind feels. Compliment sincerely at least once a day. Train your mind to see what's good. Making friends who build you. Up Epictetus is clear: the company you keep will shape your soul. Spend time with people who mock virtue, and you will learn to laugh at it yourself. Spend time with people who strive for character, and you will begin to rise with them. This isn't about surrounding yourself with perfect people. They don't exist. It's about finding those who are serious about growth, who hold themselves to a standard, who lift you without even meaning to, simply by the way they live. Practice for this month. Audit your circle. Who makes you better just by being themselves? Who pulls you toward habits you regret? Choose at least 1 regular interaction with someone you admire for their integrity or courage. Be the kind of friend who makes others better, not by preaching, but by example. The power of habit. Habits are the grooves your life runs in. Once you wear them deep, they're hard to escape, which is why Epictetus tells us to choose them with care. You become what you repeatedly do. If you repeatedly lose your temper, you become an angry person. If you repeatedly delay action, you become someone who waits for life to happen to you. But if you repeatedly tell the truth, keep your word, and act with courage, you become a person who can be trusted. The good news is that habits compound. Even small victories, not raising your voice when provoked, walking away from gossip, starting the day with reflection, build over time into a character that feels natural, not forced. Practice. Pick 1 habit that weakens your character. For 30 days, track how many consecutive days you can avoid it. Pick 1 habit that strengthens your character. For 30 days, track how many consecutive days you can keep it. At the end of the month, review the streaks and notice how even small improvements have shifted your self-respect. Start living your ideals. Now, the most dangerous word in personal growth is later. Later, I'll start saving. Later, I'll apologize. Later, I'll live with integrity. Epictetus calls us out. We are always rehearsing for life, but life is happening now. You don't need to be perfect to start living your ideals. You just need to start. Don't wait for the right circumstances. They rarely come, if you want to be honest. Start now with the next conversation. If you want to be disciplined, start now with the next choice you make today. If you want to be courageous, start now with the next small fear you face. Example 1. Speaking well in conflict. A coworker takes credit for your idea. Old habit confront in anger. Spread your side of the story to anyone who will listen. New habit speak directly, factually, without personal attack, preserving both your dignity and the relationship. Example 2. Choosing the right circle. You realize most of your evenings are spent with people who encourage reckless spending. Old habit go along to avoid awkwardness. New habits spend more time with friends who value simplicity and financial stability. Example 3. Replacing a weak habit. You scroll social media first thing every morning, starting your day reactive. Old habit. It's harmless. New habit, spend those first 10 minutes reading something that sharpens your mind or reflecting on your day ahead. Why this matters? When you speak well, keep good company, cultivate strong habits, and live your ideals, you become more than just a person at peace. You become a quiet catalyst. Without trying to fix anyone, you inspire others to raise their own standards, just by being who you are. And this is the deeper purpose of philosophy. It's not only to make you wise, but to make wisdom contagious. Every teaching we've covered, control versus worry, seeing clearly, playing your role, guarding your inner freedom, building your character, is a thread woven together. They make the fabric of a life that can stand the wear of the world. Epictetus did not promise an easy life. He promised a meaningful one. And meaning comes when you live each day with the awareness that your thoughts are yours, your actions are yours, and your character, the person you are becoming, is yours to shape. So tonight, ask yourself, what small act tomorrow will bring me closer to the person I want to be? Then do it, and do it again the next day. That's how you build a life worthy of the stage you've been given. And so, we come to the quiet part of the night, where the ideas we've explored can settle gently, like leaves drifting down onto still water. You don't need to remember every word, or hold every lesson tightly in your mind. It's enough to let the rhythm of them stay with you, to let the truth of them sink in a little deeper than thought, down into that place where your choices begin. The world will still be there in the morning, its noise, its rush, its invitations to worry about what isn't yours to control. But you will meet it differently now. You'll walk through it with a calmer breath, with a steadier gaze, with that small but unshakable knowledge that the things that truly belong to you, your thoughts, your actions, your values, are safe in your keeping. Think of the day ahead as a wide, open path. You don't need to run or chase or push your way forward. You can move at your own pace, one step at a time, noticing the texture of the moment you're in. The sun will rise without you forcing it. The wind will shift without you asking, and you will be there steady, present, ready to live by the quiet strength you've been shaping tonight. So let the last words fade into the soft hum of the room you're in. Feel your shoulders loosen, your breath deepen, your mind release its grip on the day. The night is yours now. Your peace is yours now, and no one can take that from you. Rest well, knowing that tomorrow is simply another chance to practice the art of living. Good night, sweet dreams.